Good morning, YouTube. And it is a good morning. The skies may be gray, but we got a lot of work ahead of ourselves. Let's start off the day by making ourselves strong. I just wanted to comment on, even though quarantine's happening and yeah, we can't go to the gyms, we can still get up early, get some exercise, do our jumping jacks, our push-ups. Maybe we don't have all the weights, but you know what? You probably have something that's heavy. You can lift it up and down. You got bricks around here. It's great for grip strength. It doesn't really require much, but I recommend get something to begin your day with. Yeah, and after you work out, go ahead, treat yourself. You got some coffee, you got some eggs. Look at those things bubble. This is kind of my morning routine. Every single morning, get that breakfast and sit outside in a nice Texas summer morning with my dog Chalupa. Enjoy the birds, see what they have to say before I start my day and get working. Got to get out in the garage. Yeah, so today's project, we're actually going to be just restoring a little Razor scooter that my sister brought home from Huntsville. Doesn't really get a good shot of it here, but it's rusty. There's a missing bearing in one of the wheels. It works, okay now. It's missing one of the little foam pads, but I just wanted to take you through the process of what it was like for me. The reason I'm making this channel and doing these videos is because I'm learning a lot about being a maker, being someone who is confident taking things apart, learning how they go together, cleaning them up, making them nice. Don't know why I felt the need to do this. uh, it's just a good part of how we can live is just knowing how things work. It's really satisfying, I think. And so in this process, there's a lot of failures, especially with this piece that I'm working on right here, and you'll see that more in the video. It's just a lot of lack of paying attention as I'm taking things apart. Like, how are they assembled? How can I make sure I remember it? I'm more kind of fascinated with everything that's goes into how the scooter is built, but I kind of forget, oh, I need to put this thing back together after I take it apart and clean it and everything. I also need to know like how it works. That little lever I've been doing backwards the entire time. So sometimes it seems like victories are few and far in between, but when they do come, oh man, when you when you got the big wrench and the vise and the WD-40 just makes it work well, unscrewing that big steering shaft or whatever, you just celebrate the little things and you get to discover along the way. Found this cool little ball bearing ring kind of thing. Just, I didn't know that existed. And this piece here was going to give me quite a bit of trouble throughout the whole process, especially in reassembling it. I just thought I would show you guys a zoomed in version, like using the spring thingy. It was cool. Here's all the disassembled pieces in their dirty state. I was looking forward to getting the rusty parts into a bath of vinegar, just straight distilled white vinegar. I think I would have put them in for longer. I left them in for maybe 5 hours total. Could have done overnight. I was a little anxious to just see how the pieces came out. And I spent a decent amount of time cleaning up the little parts, filing the edges of this aluminum body down. It's pretty rough. And I really enjoyed the whole process of like, sure, maybe some of the parts are small and it's not really significant if they're clean or whatever, but it's good to be able to just spend time on the parts and learn as you go. This back wheel, I thought I had all the pieces to assemble. It turns out I was using the wrong bolt for the wheel shaft. The right bolt was actually in the vinegar solution, but I didn't know that. And through the process, just lots of little frustrations and learning, and I end up dropping the little ring inside of the wheel. I think, yep, where did it go? Well, it wasn't there. I found it in the tool chest that was by my feet. That was kind of a scare. There it is. After I recovered that little guy and realized that ultimately I was not going to be able to assemble this back wheel because I was not using the correct pieces, I thought I would clean off some of the rusty parts to just see. I think it had maybe been like 3 hours or so. Just wanted to see the progress, and that is satisfying to achieve right there. Just dipping in some vinegar or some water right there to wash off the vinegar, and then use a wire brush to unveil the beautiful metal beneath. Oh yeah, this episode is sponsored by lunch. Have you ever been hungry between breakfast and dinner? Well, I have the solution for you. If you just get some lettuce and bread and some meat, well, you can make yourself a sandwich. And if you eat it like around 12 or 1 o'clock p.m., that's a great time to refuel and just enjoy your hard work so far. Crumple up that napkin. Are you guys napkin crumplers, or do you keep it folded and straight? I crumple mine. But anyway, let's get back to the project. Yeah, this maybe like 5 hours or so, as I said. These are the rusty parts in all their vinegar glory, and spent a while cleaning them up. I learned along the way, if you do this, to dry off the metal pieces, because if you leave them wet after wiping them down, they're gonna get rusty again. So that happened to me. And you just, you learn, and then you re-wipe them down, and you say, I'm wiser and more experienced than I used to be. And I think the pieces, for the most part, came out a lot better. There's all the little bolts. And after I cleaned everything, that's what it looks like. Oh, how shiny. It's like a table of gold, pure gold, sitting before me. That's how I felt anyway. It's mostly aluminum. The bolts, that was satisfying. Oh yeah. So after this, everything was clean and dry. It's time to start assembling and doing a lot of wrestling with the spring mechanisms, and just, you have to put force on certain parts. The brake part was one of them, and you'll see this piece later when I reassemble the mechanisms inside. It was quite a trick. I sanded some of those pieces down. I don't think I got to the depth that the rust was. Like I said, I could have left them in the vinegar for longer, but as it was, it was good enough. And then begins the reassembly part. I remembered almost all of the bolts and where they went, but when it came down to some of the nitty-gritty details, some things that you might overlook, like where does the steering shaft, like where does that mechanism even attach to the body? I kind of used the wrong bolts, and you'll see that in a second. This was quite an experience, trying to somehow grow 3 extra hands to get the spring attached to the bolt, and lots of failure, lots of misunderstanding of how the mechanism was actually supposed to work, but eventually. Did I put it on backwards? Yeah, so apparently I didn't have it in backwards, but I didn't know that. I was just very confused on how the whole thing was assembled, so spent 45 minutes trying to figure out where it's supposed to go, how it's supposed to work. Ended up concluding that I need to go to bed. I was just gonna sleep on it and come back to it the next day. So while Chalupa munches on his morning snack, I'm getting ready, planning on how I'm gonna finish up this scooter project today. My sister's actually coming home that day, and I was pretty confident that I was gonna finish. It turns out, as I went to the garage, I realized that I was just pushing the lever the wrong direction. I needed to push. Not as intuitive in my mind, but I had it right the whole time, according to the plan, obviously. So after that, I just started to keep on, assembling. Put some lubrication on the bearings, got everything tightened down, nice and nice. After that, I started to put the wheels back on. The front wheel went on without a hitch because it had both of its ball bearings, but this one did not, and I didn't realize that it was supposed to have 2. I am a beginner, truly. And so it had one ball bearing. On the other side, it had the outer ring of the ball bearing and the inner ring, but I didn't realize it was missing the little actual balls in between, because it just wasn't familiar enough. And so I got it on and spinning, but as soon as I rode it, it was the brake was just but because of the weight as I was standing on the scooter, it was just falling down onto the wheel. I knew something was wrong. So there's the outer part of the ball bearing, which was giving me a little bit of suspicion earlier, but I didn't know what it was. I just replaced it with a new ball bearing. We had one, and just like that, it worked. Where am I? Boom! There I am. So yeah, giving it a good test run. Probably do some kick flips or some cool trick. Yeah, that's good enough. But I was happy. I really learned a lot. Felt like a very, very beginner at times, and that's okay. That is the point of this channel. That is the point of what I want to communicate to you guys in this journey that I'm going on, is how to see yourself as a student and submit yourself to the process with an attitude of humility and joy as you learn. So yeah, it was good to get my hands dirty. My sister really enjoyed riding around on her new and improved Razor scooter. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and the subscription, and it's free, I promise. And let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll see you guys next time.